Hello, everyone. It's Julie Hutchison here from Think Be Do Leadership. And phew, it's day 30, September the 30th. It's day 30 of our Communication Fest, 30 days of communication tips to help you to improve your impact and influence. And we are on the final day. We've had a great time. I don't know if you haven't watched all of these, then do message me, because we are creating a little pack where they're all together. So you don't have to go find them all over the place. Actually can have we're doing a PDF where you can actually click the link and get all of those 30 days in one place. So if you want that, do remember to message me. So today is the final day. And what I want to look at today is, well, let's have a look at all the different things and put it together in terms of what does it mean to be a confident communicator creating impact? Pretty obvious, really. What's the pieces of the puzzle? How are we doing it? Because we delved into the weeds of all the different things, but now we need to take a little bit of a helicopter view of, well, what have we been doing and how is that all put together so that you can apply it to your business, your career, or whatever what you want to do. Okay. And so that's super, super important, because if we just randomly apply different things, we're not really looking at why we're applying it or how we're applying it. We need to be more conscious of the purpose of what we're trying to do. How does this all fit together? So I want us to look perhaps more of a helicopter view today. And I'm going to try and do that by sharing my screen. So if you're listening live, or watching live, should I say, then do say hello, because it's always nice to have somebody to. And I'm going to have to check that I'm doing this right, because I'm about to share my screen. So hang on one second. Let's see if we can make this happen. That's the one we want. Here we go. Let's see. Share screen. Share screen. We're going to go with this one. Share. I'm hoping I'm sharing. So if I'm not, somebody please message me, because that would be quite useful, wouldn't it, really? Okay, so what we're talking about here is confident impact. So the communication that we have is going to lead us to the impact that we have on other people, and therefore our ability to get what we want, to achieve the things we want to achieve, to grow a team, or whatever it might be, the way in which you want to impact. But it's all about our communication. So this diagram only at the moment has confident impact in the middle, but I want us to look at what happens if we don't do this. So first of all, first real pain in the back, we don't get heard. We don't get listened to. People ignore us because we are not heard in the space that we want. So we're just the sort of person who has a whole load of stuff to speak about, and loads of knowledge and stuff that we would really, really value, but it just goes unheard. Maybe we get ignored because we are not having the impact we want. So we end up being ignored, even though we may be heard, but then we don't get taken notice of. So we then get ignored. And maybe we don't have the confidence to even say it in the first place. So we didn't even say it. Nobody can hear us because we don't say it. And so even though we're super clever, we know our stuff, we're just not getting out there because we don't have the confidence. And so all of the things that we've done recently over the last 30 days have been about how do we turn this round and communicate in a way that means we are relevant and interesting, so that we are heard and people want to hear us and their ears prick up, so that when we speak, they want to know what we've got to say, that we are positively impactful, that we're not ignored, we are having an impact, and that impact is positive, which means, again, people have the experience of wanting to listen to us, and that we're also confident and connected, so that we know who we're speaking to and how best to connect with those people, so that what we say actually sticks and has an impact at all, and that we feel capable and confident to go out there and actually say it. Does that make sense? If it does, then do comment. I'm just going to check, see whether I definitely am sharing my screen now, because it would be quite useful if it was. Yes, I am. There you go. Great. So, so here we go. These are the three things that we want to do. We want to be relevant and interesting, positively impactful, confident and connected. So all the techniques and tools that I've been talking about are for the purpose of doing these three things, okay? Because when we are relevant and interesting, people take notice. When we're positively impactful, they have a good experience with us, and we understand them, and we're confident to get our word out there. And so let's look at what then have we then been doing to make that happen. So what's the next level down of like, well, Julie, that's lovely, but how do we do that? And then we look at this. So to become relevant and interesting, first of all, you need strategic significance. And what I mean is that you're not talking about the weeds. You are linking this to something that's important to you and important to people. And when we work on this in our Confident Communicator program, and we also touch on this in our leadership program, well, in a big way, is talking at the level that's going to make people think, yes, I believe in what you believe, and therefore I am going to listen to what you've got to say. So it's about being significant at the right level, because if this doesn't happen, then it's just irrelevant to people, and therefore it doesn't matter what you say. It's not got a reason for them to be listening. Take a sip of my drink, I think. Okay, the next one then, this one. How to articulate that value that you bring, to how to be of use to people, or for people to understand your value and find you of use, or the information that you're talking about is of use. So we need to make sure that we can articulate our value or the value of the thing that we want to talk about in a way that sparks their interest. Because if we don't do this, we keep we hide our light under a bushel, and we don't talk about the things that we need to talk about. We sit there in a meeting mute because other people are speaking, or we don't find a way to get ourselves out there. And then we don't, dare I say, blow our own trumpet. Then what that means is that we don't get our value out there, and people don't even know about it. They don't hear about it. And therefore we need to find a way to make sure that you can articulate your value, and talking about what you do, how you do it, and why it's useful. Okay, we touch on that massively in our Confident Communicator program. The next one here, over positively impactful, is, well, the only way to get positively impactful, if you're not just lucky enough to be that naturally all the time, most people aren't, the first thing we need to do is get conscious. We need to get develop mindful impact. So we need to be able to design what we want and know where we are in terms of what impact we're having, so that we can design that. So we look at the behaviors, we look at the way in which you show up, the way in which you communicate, so that it has a positive impact. And it's super important to get conscious of that, because so many people just wander around life giving it out the way it seems to fall out of the mouth. We're almost vomiting their impact on people, and having no knowledge of really what that does to people, whether it's good or bad or indifferent. So we need to change that. And then the next one in that positively impact is, how do we get people to buy into the concepts that we're talking about? So we know it's strategically significant. We know there's value there, but how do we get people to buy in at that level? How do we talk? How we communicate at the right chunk? And we talked about this, and I cannot remember what day it was, but we delved into this a little bit more, is to actually get people to buy in at concept level, at the belief level, to our whatever it is that we're trying to say. So we want people to be impacted at that level. And then down the bottom here, we need ourselves to be more confident to get out there, but we need to connect with people. We need to understand people, because when we do that, then we are less likely to feel like we have nothing to say, or less likely to miss out on the connection with people. And when people feel connected, they're going to listen. So we have to look at, how do we have confident conversations? How do we have those difficult conversations? How do we bring up subject matters that we have to talk about and need to be spoken about? And remember, again, I cannot remember what day it is. So if you want all of these, each of the 30 days, then that will encompass all of this in that. So in 10-minute chunks, so you can flip through. So confident conversations, how do I deal with things that are awkward? And we talked about the bin model. We talked about how do we put things across? How do we look at other people's perspectives, and all sorts of things? And it's super important, because the minute you do that, then you're much more able to have those conversations that need to be had. And lastly, aligning your audience and aligning you to your audience is understanding who's in the room. This is huge, because so often people say to me, in fact, I was just talking to a lovely lady called Fumbi about this morning. So often people will say to me, well, I am who I am. That's the way I am. I show up how I am. And it's like, that's lovely. As long as you don't want any friends or influence anybody, or have any colleagues that listen to you, because we have to align ourselves to who's in the room, because if we want something, we have to do something. Yeah. Behavior breeds behavior. So we have to act to get a reaction. Yeah. We cannot expect people to take us as we are. We want something out of it, this interaction. And therefore, we have to look at, well, how do they communicate? How do they want to take on the information? And when we do that, they want to hear from us because they feel like, wow, I feel really comfortable around Bob or whoever you are. And therefore will be more likely to listen to you when you are aligned to them. So we have to work on understanding different types of people. And again, in our Confident Communicator program, that's what we will make sure that you do. And we do it on our Leaders Launchpad program too. So those are the elements that, although we've been individually picking out these different things over the last 30 days, this is why those things are important. Because if you want confident impact, you've got to communicate. You've got to stop being unheard, ignored, and having no confidence to speak up. You've got to get relevant and interesting. You've got to be positively impactful, and you've got to get confident, and connected. Okay. And so that's why, as I said, it's super important to be able to do all of those things. So remember that you have all of these at your fingertips because we've just done 30 days. So please message me if you would like to find out more about getting hold of all of those days in one place. Okay. So it's the end, I'm afraid. It's the end of Confident Impact. You should be there by now. Are you not there by now? And if you're not there by now, or you're thinking, I loved what you said, Julie, but how the hell do I implement all of that? Then give me a shout, because that's what we do on our program. This is about knowing what to do, but obviously knowing and not doing is same as not knowing. You have to implement this stuff. And if you and or the people in your business, your team, want to really tackle this so that you are more able and you are impacting on people in a really good way as a team, then you're going to be more productive in your business. You're going to make more money in your business. So it's worth working on it, and working on it together will change the culture of your business into something where it's more open and more confidently communicating, and therefore more productive, profitable. So give me a shout if you would like to find out more about how you can work on this with me in the Confident Communicator program. Okie doke, I'm going to stop screen sharing. Whew, I managed it. And remember that you can ask me a question anytime. I will be next month focusing on our Team on Fire mission for October, which is how do I grow my team and get them to be at top performance? How do I grow my leadership team and get them confidence to be great leaders in my business? And how do I become a leader myself? So please join us next month for those. Can you believe it's October already? Well, tomorrow is October already. Give us a shout if you want more information. And if you want to continue watching all of these, then do sign up to be notified when we're going to go live. Okay, you have a great day. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.